Here are 5 NBA players that desperately need to be traded this season. My name is Joshua Enviers. Let's get started first talking about Bradley Beal. The Washington Wizards recently came out and said they are never going to tank. They're always going to try to win, and we'll see how long that's able to last. I've said this in prior videos, and so many other people have said it as well. The Washington Wizards have been one of the most disappointing teams this season, considering they have the talent to actually make the playoffs, but they currently are actually 2 games out. Or not 2 games, but 2 teams out, sitting around anywhere from 5 to 6 games out of an 8th seed spot. The Wizards are still in a spot where you don't want to be at. They can't trade John Wall. He's injured. He got a supermax contract. Not many teams are going to be saying, of course we want John Wall. He's an all-star point guard, considering he hasn't been playing as an all-star point guard for the past few years now. What the Wizards can do is offer other players like Bradley Beal and Otto Porter, Bradley Beal in particularly because he is one of their best players on their team right now. He has the most value. And by trade deadline, if the Wizards don't have enough ground on the Charlotte Hornets, which realistically they should because they're the Charlotte Hornets and Kemba has no help, if they can't, they should definitely look to trade Bradley Beal because this Wizards team, injuries or not, just can't seem to have been getting it together these past few years. Staying east, let's talk about Nikola Vucevic. It's crazy how the Magic play better with Vucevic on the floor than when he's not on the floor. The Magic have been constantly drafting these raw athletic talents such as Jonathan Isaac and Mo Bamba, but it doesn't seem to be working out. Obviously, Bamba is a few years away from being a few years away, but when you draft a guy like that in the position that he's in, that's essentially saying to Vucevic, your time with the Orlando Magic is coming to an end here. And that's exactly what it might be, considering Vucevic is on an expiring deal. He's going to be a free agent this offseason, and there's no reassurance on whether or not he'll stay with the Magic. So if you're in the Magic's position, you have to trade Vucevic, unless you're going to overpay him in the summer, but then that eventually leads to Bamba being expendable on your team. Realistically, the Magic won't trade Vucevic. They'll probably trade Bamba, Aaron Gordon, and Jonathan Isaac for Serge Ibaka again, most likely. That's a joke. From one big to another, let's talk about Kevin Love, who's been hurt. Only's played like 4 games this season. And it's crazy how inflated and good Kevin Love's stats look for the 4 games that he's played. It was kind of looking like Minnesota Timberwolves Kevin Love, where he loses all the games, but he puts up great numbers. The Cavs signed him to a multi-year deal, planning to be a contending team in the Eastern Conference to make the playoffs, but that obviously didn't go the way they planned originally. Once Kevin Love got hurt, they were in full tank mode. I don't know what Kevin Love was feeling after he won a championship with Cleveland, but apparently he said to himself, LeBron James is gone, I just want to get paid, and he got paid. He's going to be on the Cavs roster until 2022. Obviously, if he isn't traded before then, not many teams are going to want Kevin Love with that contract that he just got. So the Cavs are kind of stuck with him for the next few seasons, it seems like, even though if he doesn't fit the timetable that they have. It's going to be like Minnesota all over again. But hey, he did it to himself. Next, we have Reggie Jackson of the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons should be in playoffs just like the Washington Wizards. And it sucks to see because the Pistons have started off good this season. They look like a true contending playoff team, but apparently they aren't. I've seen some of the Detroit Pistons basketball games, especially the last 4th quarter. Reggie Jackson is a turnover machine. Even though if his stats say he's only averaging 1.9 turnovers a game, he just might lose the ball at the worst possible times, which ends up costing the Pistons the game, especially in the 4th quarter. The Pistons just need a solid point guard. Honestly, what it's looking like for the Pistons is they're going to have to settle for another version of Reggie Jackson, and next year that will probably be a guy like Terry Rozier. But they don't have the money because they have a guy like Reggie Jackson still. The experiment of turning a backup point guard to a starter because he felt like he wanted to be one was a good experiment for the first time he was traded and the season after that. Other than that, it's been downhill ever since then. Give me a guy like Eric Bledsoe instead, any other decent point guard than Reggie Jackson. He probably has 0 value on the market, but doesn't need to be with Detroit any longer. Last but not least, we're talking about a Western Conference player for once, Zach Randolph, who hasn't played a single game this season for the Sacramento Kings, even though if he is healthy. Yeah, I know he's taking more of a mentorship role on the younger guys, but at the same time, he isn't injured. You're telling me the Kings are paying $11 million for an assistant player coach? That's tough. He was brought in as cap space and obviously the connection with Dave Yeager last year. But now the style of basketball that the Kings play, the run and gun Zach Randolph would be out of breath like within 5 seconds. I know I would. So those are 5 players I feel need to be traded this season. Realistically, some of them can't be traded because of their contracts, but each player on this list doesn't fit the timeline of their team anymore. Let me know what 5 players you feel should be traded in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video, share it around, subscribe, click on all these other videos on screen. Thank you for watching.